Anger is a powerful emotion, one that can sweep us away in an instant and leave us feeling out of control, regretful, and sometimes even ashamed. It distorts our thinking, narrows our perspective, and often leads us to act in ways that are out of alignment with our true values. The Stoics, ancient philosophers who dedicated their lives to understanding the nature of human emotions and how to live in accordance with reason, offer us profound insights into how to manage and ultimately erase anger from our lives. By deeply integrating these Stoic principles into your daily routines and thought processes, you can learn to navigate the challenges of life with calmness, clarity, and an enduring sense of peace. 1. Understand the power of perspective. The first step in overcoming anger is to recognize the immense power that your perspective holds. According to the Stoics, it is not the external events themselves that cause us distress, but our judgments about those events. This concept is encapsulated in the words of the Stoic philosopher Epictetus, who said, "It is not things that upset us, but our judgments about things." This means that the anger you feel is not directly caused by the situation you're facing, but by the way you're interpreting it. When something happens that triggers your anger, whether it's a slight from a friend, a frustrating delay, or a perceived injustice, pause and consider the possibility that you are not seeing the situation clearly. Ask yourself, is this truly as bad as it seems, or am I exaggerating its significance? Will this matter in the long run, or am I allowing a temporary annoyance to overshadow what's really important? By challenging your initial reactions and reframing the situation in a more rational light, you can often diffuse the intensity of your anger and respond in a more composed and thoughtful manner. This shift in perspective not only helps to cool the flames of anger in the moment, but also cultivates a habit of seeing the world through a lens of reason rather than emotion, which is essential for long-term emotional resilience. 2. Practice voluntary discomfort. Stoicism teaches that one of the most effective ways to build emotional resilience, and thus reduce anger, is to practice voluntary discomfort. This involves deliberately putting yourself in situations that challenge your comfort and provoke mild irritation or frustration. By doing so, you train your mind to remain calm and composed in the face of adversity, making it less likely that you will be overwhelmed by anger when real difficulties arise. For example, you might choose to take a cold shower, fast for a day, or engage in a physically demanding task that pushes you to your limits. The purpose of these practices is not to punish yourself, but to cultivate a mindset that views discomfort as an opportunity for growth rather than a source of suffering. When you willingly endure discomfort, you strengthen your ability to face life's inevitable challenges with equanimity. The next time you encounter a situation that would normally trigger anger, such as a traffic jam, a difficult conversation, or an unexpected setback, remind yourself that you have faced and overcome discomfort before. You can choose to see this moment as another opportunity to practice patience, resilience, and self-control. Over time, this practice of voluntary discomfort will help you build a mental fortress against anger, allowing you to remain steady and unshaken in the face of life's storms. 3. Embrace the dichotomy of control. One of the foundational principles of Stoicism is the dichotomy of control, the understanding that some things are within our control, while others are not. Anger often arises when we try to control things that are inherently beyond our influence, such as the actions of other people, the outcomes of events, or the circumstances we find ourselves in. This futile attempt to exert control over the uncontrollable leads to frustration, resentment, and, ultimately, anger. The Stoics encourage us to focus our energy only on what we can control, our own thoughts, actions, and responses. When you find yourself becoming angry, take a moment to ask, what part of this situation is within my control? Can I change the behavior of the person who upset me? Can I alter the outcome of this event? More often than not, the answer will be no. However, you always have control over how you choose to respond. By accepting the limitations of your control and redirecting your focus to your own behavior, you can free yourself from the anger that comes from trying to bend the world to your will. This doesn't mean passively accepting everything that happens, but rather approaching each situation with the understanding that while you can't control external events, you can control your internal response. This shift in focus from the external to the internal empowers you to respond to challenges with grace and wisdom rather than anger and frustration. 4. Reflect on the impermanence of life. A core Stoic practice is the meditation on the impermanence of life. This involves regularly reminding yourself that everything in life, your possessions, your relationships, your successes, and even your own existence, is temporary. By deeply internalizing this truth, you can reduce the attachment that often leads to anger. Anger frequently stems from a sense of loss or a fear that something important to us is being taken away or threatened. However, when you recognize that nothing in life is truly permanent, it becomes easier to let go of the need to cling to things and to accept the natural ebb and flow of life. For example, if you find yourself becoming angry because someone has criticized you or because you've lost something valuable, remind yourself that this, too, shall pass. Everything in life is in a constant state of change, and the things that provoke your anger today will likely be forgotten tomorrow. By keeping the impermanence of life at the forefront of your mind, you can develop a sense of detachment that allows you to respond to life's challenges with a calm and measured attitude. This doesn't mean becoming indifferent or uncaring, but rather cultivating a mindset that sees beyond the immediate moment and recognizes the transient nature of all things. In doing so, you can free yourself from the grip of anger and approach life with a sense of peace and acceptance. 5. Cultivate compassion. Anger often arises when we feel that someone has wronged us, disrespected us, or failed to meet our expectations. In these moments, it's easy to become consumed by resentment and to lash out in anger. However, the Stoics teach that one of the most powerful antidotes to anger is compassion. By taking a step back and considering the other person's perspective, you can transform your anger into understanding and empathy. Remember that everyone is dealing with their own struggles, fears, and challenges, and their actions are often a reflection of their own inner turmoil rather than a deliberate attempt to hurt you. When someone behaves in a way that triggers your anger, try to see the situation from their point of view. Ask yourself, what might this person be going through? What pain or confusion might be driving their actions? By shifting your focus from your own feelings of hurt or injustice to the other person's humanity, you can soften your heart and respond with kindness rather than anger. This doesn't mean excusing harmful behavior, but rather recognizing that we are all imperfect and that anger only adds to the suffering in the world. By choosing compassion over anger, you not only free yourself from the corrosive effects of resentment, but also contribute to a more understanding and compassionate world. 6. Use preemptive meditation. One of the most effective Stoic practices for managing anger is premeditatio malorum, or the premeditation of evils. This involves mentally preparing yourself for potential challenges, difficulties, and frustrations before they occur. By anticipating these situations, you can reduce their emotional impact when they do arise and prevent yourself from being overwhelmed by anger. For example, if you know that you are going to have a difficult conversation with a colleague, or that you are likely to encounter delays on your commute, take a few moments beforehand to imagine these scenarios playing out. Visualize yourself remaining calm and composed in the face of these challenges, responding with patience and understanding rather than anger. This practice of preemptive meditation helps to inoculate your mind against the unexpected and reduces the likelihood that you will be caught off guard by anger. It also reinforces the Stoic principle that while you cannot control external events, you can control your response to them. By preparing yourself mentally for the difficulties that life inevitably brings, you can approach each situation with a sense of calm and confidence, knowing that you are capable of handling whatever comes your way without succumbing to anger. 7. Focus on your own virtue. In Stoicism, the only true good is virtue, and everything else, wealth, fame, comfort, and even health, is considered indifferent. This means that your primary focus in life should be on cultivating your own virtue, rather than on trying to control external circumstances. When you find yourself becoming angry, it's often because you've placed too much value on things outside your control, such as someone else's opinion of you, the success of a particular project, or the outcome of a specific situation. The Stoics teach that by shifting your focus back to your own virtue, your ability to act with wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance, you can detach from the external triggers of anger and remain centered in your true purpose. For example, if someone insults you or criticizes your work, rather than reacting with anger, remind yourself that their opinion is outside your control. What is within your control is how you choose to respond. You can choose to respond with dignity, grace, and integrity, rather than allowing your emotions to dictate your behavior. By prioritizing your own virtue over external outcomes, you not only protect yourself from the destructive effects of anger, but also align yourself with the Stoic ideal of living in accordance with nature. This means living in harmony with your true self, guided by reason and virtue, rather than by the fleeting and often irrational emotions that arise in response to external events. 8. Practice mindful breathing. Anger is not just a mental or emotional experience. It also has a profound effect on your body. When you become angry, your heart rate increases, your muscles tense, and your breathing becomes shallow and rapid. These physical reactions can further intensify your anger, creating a feedback loop that is difficult to break. One of the most effective ways to interrupt this cycle is through mindful breathing. When you feel anger rising, take a few moments to focus on your breath. Breathe deeply and slowly, inhaling through your nose and exhaling through your mouth. As you breathe, pay close attention to the sensation of the air entering and leaving your body. This simple practice helps to calm your nervous system, reduce the physical symptoms of anger, and create a space between the stimulus and your response. In this space, you can choose to respond with reason rather than letting your anger take control. Mindful breathing not only helps to diffuse anger in the moment, but also trains your mind to remain calm and centered in the face of stress. Over time, this practice can help you develop a greater sense of awareness and control over your emotions, allowing you to navigate life's challenges with a sense of calm and clarity. 9. Seek solitude. In a world that is constantly demanding our attention, it can be difficult to find the time and space to process our emotions. When you feel anger rising, one of the most effective strategies is to step away from the situation and seek solitude. The Stoics valued solitude as a means of calming the mind, reflecting on one's thoughts, and regaining control over one's emotions. When you find yourself becoming overwhelmed by anger, remove yourself from the environment that is triggering it, even if only for a few minutes. This could mean going for a walk, sitting quietly in a room, or simply closing your eyes and taking a few deep breaths. Use this time to clear your thoughts, reflect on the situation, and remind yourself of your Stoic principles. Ask yourself, what is really important here? How can I respond in a way that aligns with my values? By giving yourself the gift of solitude, you create a space where you can process your emotions without the pressure of immediate reaction. This allows you to return to the situation with a cooler head and a more balanced perspective, reducing the likelihood of acting out of anger and increasing your ability to respond with wisdom and composure. 10. Remember the goal of tranquility. The ultimate aim of Stoic practice is ataraxia, a state of tranquility and freedom from disturbance. Anger is one of the greatest obstacles to achieving this state, as it disrupts our inner peace and clouds our judgment. The Stoics recognized that anger is not just an emotion, but an enemy of reason, one that can lead us to make poor decisions and act in ways that are contrary to our true nature. When you feel anger beginning to stir within you, ask yourself, is this worth sacrificing my inner peace? The answer is almost always no. By making tranquility your highest priority, you can begin to see anger for what it truly is, a thief of your calm and a threat to your well-being. Instead of allowing anger to take hold, remind yourself that your true goal is not to win an argument, prove a point, or get even, but to maintain a state of inner calm and clarity. This doesn't mean suppressing your emotions or avoiding conflict, but rather approaching each situation with the intention of preserving your peace of mind. By prioritizing tranquility over anger, you can navigate life's challenges with a sense of calm and confidence, knowing that nothing is more valuable than your own inner peace.